And this will be the biggest side note I've ever had, was witches, when they fly in their broomstick, it's been orchestrated only because it's such a fabrication, an extensive fabrication, of what a humanoid figure, and I say humanoid because when witches get water on them, they melt. So at that point, when they're half melted, it's kind of like a person with a whole bunch of milk coated on their body. So much so that they're coated in it. But that said, the difference of the two is an inverse, right? Because one's adding onto the skin, concave, and one is your skin deformating, meaning leaving off of you, convex, which I think I can fix disability mobilities having to do with your spine and brainstem with what lung capacity is, because it's a cavity in you. I just had an idea. I've got to look up and see if it's possible, but it's plausible. Theoretically, anything's possible. So with these witches, if you had a figure eight over the entire effing globe, that's capitalized on this magnetosphere. So you could ride a broomstick like in a circle. If it was, I just had a trash bag flow out and it was going around the wind tunnel, so much so that it was looking like pretty heavy, and so much so that it imitated like what a one second. Wow, look at this clothing on the ground behind the bush. I think I just documented what was disgusting, so that could have been in my earlier vlog. What's not decent? Dropping food on the ground, throw it away, but this can't fit in, so other things. Wow. Way to grab the napkin out of your pocket quick. That was, you can't teach that, it's instincts. I don't know how I grabbed that napkin, but in any case, it is, there was this plane that was crashing with a whole bunch of prominent scientists over China, and so instead of it crashing, it actually got drifted. And this drifting was caught on camera, and then the plane disappeared. But before it disappeared, which is a fabrication beyond belief, like a witch having a whole bunch of smoke and it poof, it teleports somewhere else, was this plane, and it looked like it was on train tracks, but the train tracks were invisible. So if any there was a case, would be these witches having like a figure eight around the globe, and this would be a thing of witch. And I'm sitting right behind this clothing. It's so disgusting because I forgot my deodorant today. No, look at this bee. Here's the animals real quick. And I heard there's like people trying to kill bees. Shoot, he just burrowed in that bush. He didn't want to get, he's camera shy. The witches on broomsticks, oddly similar, that figure eight, to these invisible train tracks that saved a plane and teleported it, I guess, with the same poof. There was a giant like flashbang and the plane was gone, equivalent to how witches had that smoke, that poof, and they teleported. And so there's a few things that I tried looking up myself and I didn't quite get there, and then just stumbling across misinterpretations. This is what has surmounted. I thought that there was never a definitive double fracture because of microscopics. Your bones are always turning over from inside because of cell growth. This is osteogrowth, but in any case, especially under injury, when your bone is fractured, it can't refracture in the same exact space because the cells have divided and differentiated. So, I don't know, there's just pictures of fractures. I've had a double fracture on a bone, and I don't want to disclose where.
But nevertheless, I thought this book would have been like a full comprehensive of something different because I heard there's some poisons that get stuck in your bones. This book is it was called The Brain, and I'm enamored with the brainstem because it's connected to the spinal cord, and that's where your nervous system reads. But this reads Big Bang behaviors and beliefs. So this book is like shooting for the stars because its aim is all of them. This guy is performing something like Neo did in the Matrix with bullet time, but it's a Caucasian wearing an Asian clothing. And I thought it said that it was a computer book of Tai Chi because I've been trying to rendition iterations of martial arts inside of definitive linguistics of video game classical fighting game motions.
So here's this guy. I'm getting kind of backlashy because I had to pedal without a bike chain down the road at a place to check if they had any malt, and what a joke they don't. Because this is, I thought, a household product. Well, it usually is. It's just their shelves are empty for the best deals on malt. And I'm using my speech lightly, so this isn't evidently. And so she's like, we don't have any Old English. I'm like, evidently. To figure out what psycho is. Some would say vlogging in the road is not safe, but this crosswalk with the legality behind it would beg otherwise. The word psycho, in Japanese music, they use this word. I think it's a different word in a different language, but it means the same thing. In any case, they use it a lot, and I like when they do because it's usually on really good emphasizing during the song. And it's not because I'm understanding what they're saying for a brief moment. The word psycho, there's this guy who thought American Psycho, Patrick something. He wanted to be just like him, so he beat the bricks off his mom with a weight. And so this guy, even still, it's because he snapped when he was psycho. He was emulated by this one, infatuated by this movie American Psycho. So even in jail, like, he puts on all this cologne and stuff the same way that this guy did in the movie. So that's, to me, what psycho is. I'm so happy to never see what violent things are. But in all reality, this violence can be something as easy as eating too much bologna. And I should know, my uncle was one of them. He said he got kidney stones. So I'm just concerned of what bologna is. Here's another one. Oh, bologna. Oh, bologna. So it said when a butterfly flaps its wings, that in the butterfly effect, and Ashton Kutcher made a Hollywood movie out of this, it changes things about it significantly, drastically. I just had a hawk it flight over there. Cardinal popped out real quick, flight over there. But in the same fashion, they're doing this in a dive bomb. If you don't know what a dive bomb is, it's where, and I saw a bird do this perfectly, down from a telephone wire, above 10 feet would be the classical representation of this. But dive bombing can be with people on the ground with their feet, and they go in the same exact ratio that a hawk hovering over that corner I just showed you and a cardinal coming in and flashing out on the ground, but the hawk in the air and doing it. That same exact dynamic. And this is really hard to put your finger on, especially since I didn't document either bird, but a dive bomb. This bird from the telephone wire. Straight down nosedive. Not specifically, but close to it. But then having its back tail when the birds get their back tail spread, and this is what a doctor did with his notes, describing like how one side of my mouth is. And I'm not trying to give away my body anatomy on the internet, because AI captures anything you say on it, and just like in court, it will be used against you. I believe that there is a clone of myself out there, and surrogate wise, you can make this literal because there's thousands of them. My sister has like 30 surrogates. I don't know, it's more than 3. And anything more than 3 is disgusting if it's on ice. Ice on ice is if you have a giant bag and you put it out and it's just the ice on top melting onto the ice onto the bottom. And you can just have this with a big bag as a better representation of it, as opposed to a small one. So paying to have surrogates. I think that my clone is out there of a specific disease that's designed, because people are designing diseases. It was designing drugs in Y2K. Believe me or not. And I'm not spreading anything that could make my account go shadow banned. Alcohol is a drug because it was prohibited during Al Capone, and that's, I think, why largely he went from just a regular guy to infamy, then to Alcatraz. That aside was prohibited. A designed alcohol is a specific way, and so this is PG-13 because I'm being specific on what something is of abusive behavior. When a bird is of abusive behavior, it flies above you and then it craps on you. I saw this happen to one kid and probably a second person, but I can vouch for sure one kid, and I knew it hit him on purpose. Birds flying over your head, I always think that they're going to poop on you. And there's poop so many places in Wisconsin on the sidewalk. They treat it like a cat litter box. If you're still watching, it's that, I hope I described what a dive bomb was. It's not a nosedive, but it's so close to a nosedive that is actually controlled if you're a bird by getting your tail feathers puffed out like that. And they puff their tail feathers out like that if they're trying to go upwards. An inverse nosedive is upwards, and they plume out like that and flap their wings and they go up. Put that on ice. When a butterfly flaps its wings, and if I have like a sound engineering and it comes in really hard, and a filter that comes in with an adjustment screen extra hard the opposite way, it would be a hard intro, a double cut. 2 takes, 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz had the hardest intro on the song on the radio, and it's hard to get songs on the radio because I don't listen to it often, so I don't have that much perception of it other than in the past. So there's things that have been on the radio that I've heard, rap artists that I know of, and things that have been on TV, rap artists that I know of. I don't pay attention to too many rock and roll bands that have been on TV because I was into rap at an early age. That sounds like it should be in a book. Book worthy. No, but a picture box is a TV. Timeless examples of nomenclature. But a butterfly effect, flapping its wings, can change things at length instead of just wind. But what if it was a hawk? And this hawk was flying so gingerly about this corner, and I'm in a wind tunnel because I saw trash, I called it a dumpster fire, whirling around, so I had to pick it up because I don't want trash in front of me whirling around. It's like a cloud over your head raining that's above no one else. It's cartoonesque, right? But just as this hawk flipped out and then went back, I couldn't capture it on video. A whole gust of wind blew this box of pizza open that I'm sitting next to, and my leg's over the corner so it doesn't blow open again. That's how hard it was. So I just got a full helping of what a bottleneck pigeonholing yourself is. in a phone that isn't one with a whole bunch of memory, and dare I say a cheap smart phone. It's where if you pick up malware, I think it's called spyware too. It's more drastic. Nomenclature wise, it's probably the same other ways, but the main point in case is that it has these little indentations on the screen for audio where I don't need audio help. It's just it turned off its audio, so I thought I needed an app to make it turn on. It's saying that I cannot delete the file of the app that I downloaded. It's the error. I can't delete files of imageries on the internet of a picture that I downloaded. It's an error. So it's feeding on things that shouldn't be. And so this with making videos, I'm on to my second video. In my first video, in order to delete all the memory, my memory was at full, so I couldn't open any apps. I could click on it and it would shut off right after tapping it. So I waited to recycle, clicking on the image of the camera to delete videos in it, but it shut off just like any other app did. And so I had to wait and restart the phone. And after restarting the phone, then I could then go in and delete a prominent video app, video catalog. And now I'm in square one finally, but was that the case that made my eyebrow scrunch? So my brow, I told my family members not to scrunch their brow because it wrinkles, but I saw on camera, like looking at my phone, that I was scrunching my brow prominently throughout that duration. And prior to that was getting a documentation to show my landlord on the internet that made my brow scrunch more than once.